DJ Durkin said he's going to start 2 quarterbacks on Saturday, but how much should he play Deuce, and how much should he play Jackson? Welcome on into the Auburn Express, powered by the War Rapport. I'm your host, Mike G. Turn us on, turn us up, we'll turn it out. I'm here with my good friend Taylor Davis, sideline reporter for ESPN, to talk a little Auburn football here on a Wednesday morning. Taylor, on today's show, we're going to talk about that quarterback situation here on Saturday and what the division of reps maybe looks like, what's best for the program. And then in the second half of the show, I want to talk about the person I think is the best player on the team, and that's Cam Coleman, and what Auburn maybe needs to do to keep him. Let's start at the top here. DJ Durkin said at the Monday press conference that Auburn will play both quarterbacks. You and I have talked about this already on and off camera. You had to play Deuce in this one.
Mm-hmm.
His red shirt is safe. You are preserving Ashton's red shirt, which I'm glad that they got through that with minimal drama. That was great to me. He said that, there are times where you got to do what's in the best interest of the program or the best interest of the player. I think in this case, those two things are one and the same when it comes to Ashton Daniels' red shirt.
Right.
But also that means that you got to play another quarterback. And I went to the open period today to see Deuce. He went out first in team period and looked really good throwing the ball here. You give Deuce a half, 2.5 quarters. Does it depend on what it looks like? What's the scenario here for Deuce night? What if he comes out and he struggles early versus Mercer? How long do you leave him out there to work through, his issues?
Yeah, I think if they start Deuce, I would be very shocked to see him exit anytime before the third quarter, whether it's going flawlessly or if it's a struggle for him, because I do think that the reality of that situation is they do have to do right by Deuce. And I think to a lot of people, you immediately think that means, well, then you play him. Well, hang on. Does Deuce feel like he has been equipped for this? Because you also run the risk if you throw him out there and he has not been prepared effectively, because we know he wasn't getting a ton of reps the first half of season, even in practice. There was a lot of conversation around, does he get scout team reps? Does he get reps with the threes? Like, really, how equipped has he been for live action in college ball? Because it was always the plan that this was going to be his redshirt year. So making sure that he is in a position that is not going to hinder him at all, hinder his confidence, hinder his execution. Like, you got to make sure that whatever situation you put him in is also right by him. And he's involved in those conversations. This is not just happening above his head. Like, this is very much with the player in mind. And so I think that putting him out there, having given him the right amount of preparation, game plan, all of the things to make sure that he goes out there and he shines, because there is a lot of expectation on him. You come in with all those stars. Oh, this guy's going to be the future. We all saw the video of Hugh Freeze talking to Cam Newton, hyping him up. This guy is going to be it. You know what I mean? So there is a level of weight and expectation that comes with his debut, even if it is against a Mercer. So let's make sure that the guy has everything possible that's going to set him up for success in this. Not saying that it's the be-all, end-all of who this guy is going to become, but you can't run the risk of shattering any sort of confidence or any kind of excitement that should exist around him for both his own psyche and for the future players that are anticipating they're about to come and be his targets.
Taylor, we saw a different Ashton Daniels from Kentucky to Vanderbilt.
Mm-hmm.
He just looked like a different player with a different play caller.
Yep.
What are the chances that we see a completely different Deuce? When we saw him earlier this season versus Ball State, he didn't look great. Hugh Freeze said in the postgame, he says, I was surprised he didn't complete more passes.
Yeah.
Is it possible that we see Super Deuce? I don't even know. I don't know about. I'm coining the phrase Super Deuce early. But I hope that we can, because it feels like it's been so hard for Auburn to just find a damn quarterback, man.
Yeah.
And when they have, for a program that recruits so well, top 10 classes on average when Gus was here, you've had players like Cam Coleman commit, but finding a quarterback seems to be that elusive goal for Auburn. And you put potentially have multiple really good quarterbacks on your roster here. Talk to me about whether we see the best version of Deuce on Saturday versus Mercer.
I anticipate that you're gonna see the best version that we have seen. I think that Ball State sample was not the best one, and obviously so new. Even in you guys, like, I get such a peek into what the life is like for them and what all they are dealing with schedule wise. This is a whole new world. Even some of these true freshmen that are thriving in college ball, there is an adjustment period. So the fact that we saw him the first couple weeks of season, it didn't look great, doesn't surprise me. This is even being on the sidelines in those kinds of environments, you're just getting your feet wet. So I think that now having a little more exposure therapy, I would say, just being in this whole world. And honestly, Mike, the fact that Auburn really is just playing for a couple more wins, you know what I mean? Like, obviously, there's a bowl game that could be on the line at the Iron Bowl, but that same pressure isn't exactly associated with it. So I think it will just allow him to just go play ball. Go play the game that you have been playing your entire life. You have God given ability. You have had this season to truly sit back and learn. You have been able to watch from a very intentional standpoint as a backup quarterback in the SEC, take in as much possible knowledge as you can, and still build relationship with your teammates, which I know he has done. So let him just go play free. Let him go play the game he's been playing since he was 5 years old in the backyard. So I do anticipate we're going to see a better example of Deuce, but I think it's important for everybody to keep realistic expectations. The hype around him is warranted. He has all the makings, but it's new. And letting him get out there and get those live reps in an exciting Jordan Hare game day environment, he deserves it for one. And I think you're going to see a step forward versus what we have seen. But I do think that it all needs to be kept under the guise of, look, let's let this guy have time. And this is the first start of that. And I think knowing what you've got in Ashton Daniels and that he will be back provides a little bit of, okay, now let's see what you can do. And I think that he will rise to the occasion, but it's his first opportunity and everybody's got to keep that in mind. But it's why don't go pulling him first half. If you're going to give him the start, no chance he comes off the field first half. Do not do it. Don't disrupt whatever rhythm needs to be established.
Even if the game is maybe not looking.
Give him till halftime. Do not pull him in the first half.
Okay.
I don't like that for a young quarterback. I don't. Unless
Yeah.
he straight up comes to a coach and says, "I'm rattled. I need a minute," which I have rarely seen from a competitor.
Yeah, not happening.
Otherwise, you back him and you say, "You're fine. You're fine." And we've got a whole half. I just don't anticipate that you're going to end up with some insane deficit in the first half against Mercer. I think you've got an opportunity to let him go.
On the other side, you've got an experienced quarterback in Jackson Arnold that should be able to go out and get the win for you easily.
Mhm.
Look, if you got to pull him, Jackson Arnold, I have no doubt will get the job done here.
Yeah.
But talk to me about the role that he plays in this. Look, I mean, he came in and was named the starter before he stepped foot on campus. And it didn't work out, but I am not in the group of people that's out on Jackson as a player. I think
Yeah.
he may be done at Auburn, but I
Yeah.
don't think that he was a bad quarterback. I think this was not the situation that needed to be for him this year.
Nope.
But the same way that we saw a different Ashton and we could see a different Deuce, I think we could see a different Jackson as well. When you know what I mean? If you change the play caller, could we see a different Jackson Arnold as well too? I mean, you're one injury away from needing your backup.
Yeah.
And the reason why I wanted to talk about this today is because I think this is going to be one of the craziest Iron Bowls we've ever had. I think this game
Could be.
with with Auburn sub 500 and Alabama, they're good. They've got some Bumble Town U or whatever for their next game. So they're going to be a 9-win team headed into the Iron Bowl. And they have a chance to make the college football playoff or miss it for a second year straight under Kalen DeBoer. And by the hands of Auburn, this game is going to go bonkers. I'm going to tell myself that until it doesn't. But I think that you could find yourself in a situation where you have to make a decision. If something happens to Ashton, are you turning to Deuce or are you turning to Jackson Arnold?
Oh,
in
I
the
don't
Iron
see a
Bowl.
world in which you turn to Deuce Knight in a situation
Okay,
like
all right.
that. Like, I
Even if
just
you
don't.
okay,
No.
all right. Yeah.
Way too much on him. Like, I just think that that's literally going 0 to 100 way too fast, and I think that could end up being a detriment. Conversely, Jackson has played in those moments of insane hype and intensity and all of that, and I do think that Jackson's run ability could actually catch Alabama because, like, their defense has really been stout, but Jackson is such an efficient runner, and he's big,
He beat him
and so I
last year.
think that. Huh?
He beat him last year.
Yeah, so I mean, he ran for 130 something yards against them for
Mhm.
Oklahoma last year. So I think that you would absolutely turn to Jackson if something like that happened to Ashton. But I think that the Mercer game is important just to kind of have a better insight of what you've got in Deuce, allow some chemistry to be built on the field between him and some of these targets that you hope are going to stay around Auburn. And then obviously, if you need to go to Jackson, you feel comfortable that he's going to be able to get you a win in a situation like that, along with a defense that I think is going to keep Mercer, out of the end zone. I really do. I feel very confident in our defense's ability to protect the home field and do what's needed. Even though their offense has been efficient, their quarterback has a great completion percentage and has done very well. But I feel very confident in Auburn's defense, and I think that Deuce will get a fair shot and try and get something going. And if push came to shove, Jackson would be able to get the win. But if something happened in the Iron Bowl with Ashton Daniels, I in no way think that you put Deuce in a situation like that to save the day.
There you have it, guys. It is Ashton and then Jackson in the Iron Bowl. Should anything happen, we'll keep Deuce in the break-in case of emergency glass.
There you go.
There, if need be. I just don't want Auburn to be in a situation where they were. Remember, with under Brian Harsin, with TJ getting hurt, and like I mean, they just left him out there on one leg rather than
Yeah.
play to make sure he's Davis. So hopefully Auburn is in a better situation. We're going to get to the break, and when we come back, we're going to talk a little Cam Coleman right after a quick word from our sponsors, our friends at Abel's Iron Moore and Associates. Running a business means investing in everyone else, but who's investing in you? Abel's Iron Moore and Associates help small business owners manage excess cash, build retirement plans, and create investment strategies that make their money work beyond the business. There's no minimum to start, and your initial review is complimentary. Call AIMA at 912-777-4128. Scan the QR code on your screen or visit AIMAINC.com to see how fiduciary guidance can help your business grow long after closing time. The War Rapport has been compensated by Abel's Iron Moore and Associates for this endorsement. Abel's Iron Moore and Associates is a SEC registered investment advisor. Registration as an investment advisor does not imply a certain level of skill or training. This episode of the War Rapport is also brought to you by our friends at Sky Tobacco and Vape. Ever run out of vape juice and realize you're nowhere near your favorite spot? Not a problem. Sky Tobacco and Vape's got locations sprinkled all over Columbus and even across the bridge at Phoenix City. Like they planned it that way just for you. Whether you're on the move or just vibing, they've got everything you need. Vapes, tobacco, and deals good enough to make you do a double take. Sky Tobacco and Vape, good vibes, great deals, and probably right around the corner from where you're at. I want to thank our friends at the Vibe Vault. You can find them at 3462 Crosswinds Road, Suite E in Phoenix City, Alabama. If you're in the Columbus, Phoenix City area and you're looking to get fresh for the weekend, the Vibe Vault is the place for you. My guy, Steve Watkins, is serving up cuts for the community. And if you need to work on that beard, they've got you covered there too. Again, you can find them right next to the Renfro Supermarket and the Marcos Pizza on Highway 431. The Vibe Vault, not just barbers, lifestyle consultants. Let's jump back in our conversation here. Cam Coleman. Last year, around this time, and when I say this time, I mean November, Hugh Freeze employed what I like to call his please don't transfer Cam offense, where suddenly they were throwing the ball to Cam Coleman.
Yeah.
Somehow it took Auburn a whole season to figure out that they needed to do that again, but they're doing it. Everyone is making a run at our boy Cam right now. Taylor, the schools coming after Cam, which I can't say out loud, are really going to give Auburn what I would say is they're going to put Auburn in a place where they definitely are going to have to up the bag.
Sure.
And not just the bag, but they're going to have to really sell a plan for production moving forward. And talking to Cam Coleman's camp, they were so happy after they were upset about the loss, but happy that it was like, man, come on, he can make plays for you. Just get him the ball. what do you think this needs to look like over these last 2 games for Auburn to make a strong pitch to Cam Coleman that he should stay on the Plains? Yeah, they got a little lucky to get him here with Jimbo getting fired, and
Mhm.
he committed to Texas A&M. I got a chance to talk to him in a very strange conversation. I was at a gas station. I was at a gas station with an electric car getting something to drink, and
Mhm.
someone walks up to me and they said, "Excuse me, sir, you know, can I ask you what you do for a living that you can afford a Tesla?"
Mhm.
And I said, "I do sports media." He was like, "Oh, I'm Cam Coleman. Do you know who I am?" And I'm like, "I know who you are, son." Um, so he got to check out the Tessie, and then he talked to me about why Texas A&M.
Mhm.
And he seemed very resolute in that until Jimbo got fired. So, Auburn was a very, very close second for him. And it means something to him that his family can come and see him play, easily.
Yeah.
But he wants to play, and he wants to play well, and he wants to play on a team that's good. And if you're Auburn, you got to sell that you're going to be good enough for his services next year. How does DJ Durkin do that over these next 2 games?
Yeah, I think that you do your due diligence to get the ball to your playmakers. And obviously at Auburn, that is Cam Coleman and Eric Singleton Jr. And I think that the game plan the next couple of weeks should include getting the ball to your best playmakers to go win the game. I am not of the mindset that your top priority should be how to appease these players. While the same thing with Deuce, the conversations being had with him about, okay, how equipped do you feel for this? What more can we do to help you shine in this? And then we're going to give you absolutely every possible resource to go do it. Same thing with these guys. Don't get me wrong. And I think that there are key pieces of this that will be imperative to make sure that Auburn doesn't fall off. Cam being a big part of that. But in my opinion, it doesn't stop there. And I don't think that any one player is bigger than anything at Auburn. I think that if you want to be part of this culture, if you believe that this place is going to add such value to your life, then you stick around. And obviously, your productivity and your impact on the field plays directly into that as a student athlete and where you ultimately want to go. There's big time decisions for guys that are as talented as Cam Coleman. I don't take away from that. So if Ohio State is calling, you're definitely going to hear them out and then try and see what Auburn is going to do in the interim. But I do think that if you are that good, you're going to get found anywhere. If you're that good, an FCS team is still going to get scouts at practice. If you're that good, a group of 5 quarterback is still going to get a shot at the combine. Like, I just don't think that you completely abandon anything else trying to prioritize one guy. I actually think that's going to get you in trouble. So the priority is winning the next 2 games. How do you do that? You get the ball to your best playmakers. That just so happens to include Cam Coleman.
Yeah.
If all of those things fall in line, by proxy, Cam's going to end up with the ball a lot. Cam's going to like how many times he's targeted, and Cam is going to know how much he's valued here, both right now and for the future. But you approach this with the reality that we are doing what is best for Auburn. And what is best for Auburn is also going to be what's best for you because you are one of our best.
Okay, I like that. That is actually a bar, my friend. You are our best. So what's best for us is what's best for you.
Yes.
Put that on a t-shirt
But
and
guess what?
wear it around campus.
You also can't do this alone. It is very much a team sport. And so I think that for Cam to know how much he's valued, it also should be a priority to him. Okay, how are you keeping Eric Singleton here so that I'm not doubled and tripled all year? There's
Yeah.
someone else that's a threat as well. What are you doing to keep Xavier Atkins here? Because the defense has to keep balling so that the offense can take the field again. Like, if I'm Cam Coleman, it isn't just about me because ultimately all the pieces have to play together. What are you doing from an offensive line perspective so that my quarterback can get me the ball? It's not just about one guy. All the pieces have to come into play with this. And I think that Cam is a big piece, but he's not the only piece, and he can't be for this current coaching regime or whoever is going to take the reins in the future.
Taylor, back in my day when we used to walk one way to work with no shoes in the snow, in the early 2000s.
What? Oregon Trail days, Mike? What you talking about?
Yeah, your dad didn't tell stories like that. We're not
No.
days. We didn't have shoes. We
He
just
had
had to walk
shoes.
on our hands. um, uh, I remember being in the athletic department in 2003 when a lot of us thought that either Ronnie or Cadillac was going to go pro.
Mhm.
And they made a presentation to those guys about how it could work and why they should both come back. It worked.
Works.
It worked because they went 2-5 in the draft.
Yep.
And Ronnie, who was technically the backup, got
Mhm.
drafted first, second
Yep.
overall.
Yep.
I'm hoping that they can put something together. And remember, this was coming off an offense that struggled the year before they went undefeated, and they had a very disappointing season.
Yep.
So there was a message to two potential top 5 overall picks to say, not only should you come back to Auburn, but I want you to play together, and there's going to be enough ball for the both of you.
Yep.
My prayer is that when DJ Durkin lays his head down at night, or whoever the next coach is going to be, that God shows them that plan.
Mhm.
And that they present that to these guys to say, Eric can't, like you said, you can't do it alone. Eric, Cam, Perry, Malcolm, come back.
Yep.
Come back and let's do this thing right next year, and we'll get we'll run you your money.
Mhm.
Because you're gonna get, I mean, those guys are talented. They're gonna get the money wherever they go.
Yeah.
We'll run you your money. And maybe with Cohen moving the Baylor game to Atlanta, they've got a little extra in the tank for these guys to say, hey, look, man, here's an extra mill or whatever it's going to take, but let's run it back. And we have a solid plan at quarterback. We've got an offensive system that can work. And we showed you that over these last 3 games. Let's go be good next year, but let's do it here on the Plains. Taylor Davis, sideline reporter for ESPN. I want to thank you for joining me on today's show. Before we get out of here, tell people where they can find you.
Yes, as always, you can find me on all social media platforms at Taylor Beth Davis. I will be on the call this weekend for Louisville at SMU, a huge ACC matchup because they are all still fighting and clawing their way, trying to get to a championship game. SMU definitely in the conversation. So a huge game for Rhett Lashley and co down in Dallas. That'll be a noon Eastern kick on ESPN2. And you can find me along with my Alabama Sports Hall of Fame class inductee,
that's right,
podcast co-host Jason Campbell, the guy who helped pave the way for Auburn's success. No one can tell me otherwise. And I think a Hall of Fame class induction reiterates that. Super proud of my man, J Cam. The two of us host an SEC podcast, SEC State of Mind. You can find us wherever you get your podcasts, as well as on YouTube.
Big congrats to Jason on that honor. I was happy for him when I saw that. Guys, do us a favor, hit the comments after the video. Let us know what you think about Deuce and Jackson playing. What do you think the split should be? Should they give Deuce the whole half, the whole game? We want to hear from you. And do us a favor while you're in the comment section, smash that super thanks button. Your financial support helps keep the work that we're doing here going. Please hit like and subscribe. We are the War Rapport on every social media platform. TW Rapport on TikTok. We're signing off, and as always, War Eagle.
War Eagle.